seeing a plethora of arrows rain down on you is not a pleasant sight, but Archer of God makes it a chaotic and fun affair by running to and fro at a frenetic pace. Which reminds me of Jaguar Paw's ordeal in Apocalypto when he was set loose in an open field and tries to avoid all those piercing projectiles that are trailing behind him, but in a less gruesome fashion, unlike in the movie of course. The South Korean game development company 111% let this mobile game fly at the start of the year and added another exciting game filled with lots of sweaty palm moments and a myriad of close calls in their diversified game collection. And from the looks of it, Archer of God is trying to transcend the boundaries of the classic artillery game genre by making a league of its own. Archer of God is an oscillating warfare that primarily involves, you guessed it, arrows. And I mean a lot of arrows. The recurring theme of struggle between forces of good and evil greets you from the start, and you have to pick which faction you're going to represent between heaven or hell. But regardless of which one you'll pick, it doesn't really matter whether you play as the good guy or the bad guy, because neither of them gives you a sort of skill advantage and they merely serve as character avatars. The game's main point of attack is its PvP feature. Unlike other games that have seemingly unending campaign stages, Archer of God shuns that one out and zeroes in on its dual mode to set a highly challenging tone right from the get-go, though you can still play the AI-controlled enemy in the pursue mode to reap extra rewards if you're just a noob who can't buy wins. The real-time in-game battle is indeed more thrilling with its dodge and fire movement system to say the least, compared to the traditional turn-based artillery games that generally require angular and wind calculations before firing a single shot. You also have 5 skills in your back pocket to add more spice to the already flavorful gameplay. Flaming enlightening arrows, a blinding purple smoke screen, and an arrow that has a poisonous tip are just some of the elemental active skills that you can use during combat. The skills that I just mentioned share a strong cadence with random dice PvP defense, which if you're unaware, also happens to be another mobile game under the 111% umbrella. So in case you're wondering, the uncanny similarity kinda makes sense after all. Racking up victories will not only increase your trophy count, but also allows you to earn currency rewards, which helps you to open packs and advance further in the perks laden progress board. Archer of God's RPG element revolves around the upgrade and acquisition of new skills, weapons, and passive ability. Speaking of upgrades, the source of self-currency consistently comes from opening packs, and not as a byproduct of winning matches. It means that overall upgrades in this game are longer than usual and you need to pile up consecutive wins so you can open packs quickly. If you don't like the waiting game, which all of us do, you can always go to the in-game shop to purchase the stuff that you need. Aside from the regulars like the bundled items and in-game currencies, Archer of God has the Battle Pass system, which we all know is a staple for mobile games nowadays that parade a PvP feature. It is ironic yet amazing how the developers made Archer of God incredibly competitive and exciting despite the lack of aiming mechanics for a projectile shooting game. Casting aside the flashy skills that grab anyone's attention, the real hero of this game lies upon its control system that is extremely similar to the roguelike Archero, where shooting and player movement meshed fluidly into a single unit. If you're not familiar with Archero, it's just basically standing still if you want to shoot, it's just moving elsewhere to avoid getting hit. The placement of active skills on the right is just a cherry on top, and I will still play this game even without them, plainly because of its sound fundamentals. The 8-bit pixel design also had a major contribution to the game's generally pleasing visuals, but sometimes it can be too much as the art of projectiles blend in the backdrop and get tangled up with other projectiles, which makes it harder for you to see and eventually dodge incoming arrows. The matchup system is not that harsh, as you'll be paired with players with almost the same level as you. Though you'll inevitably encounter someone that will easily run you over, chances are you can still pull off some victories through sheer skill and a sprinkle of luck. Because of its innate competitive nature and immersive gameplay, the game has successfully justified that microtransactions aren't as evil as some players think they might be. Well, at least for this game. Overall, it is a fairly competitive mobile game for both casual players and hardcore PvP gamers that offers more aerial firepower than those drag and release shooting games you often see elsewhere. It hits the mark with the things that I just pointed out a while ago, and with the 2-on-2 in raid mode sitting around the corner, Archer of God would undoubtedly hit the bullseye and make a big splash in the future.